This video, you guys are going to be for my newest victims or subs. Uh, a lot of you guys don't really understand where I come from, why I've been doing what I've been doing, why I have so many channels, why I fight back, or anything. Um, but I'm just going to go back to within the last 3 years. I'm not going to go all the way back 20 years. I'm just going to go back to when you know what happened. And I got a channel that's called Boardman Township, Ohio. Boardman Township and then just OH for Ohio. And there's a lot of explanations on there about what happened to me in the last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 4 years. But I got an anniversary coming up here that I want to bring back up. People, I've been through 3 heart surgeries. I was born with what they call Wolff Parkinson's White syndrome, which is a heart problem, which my heart rate goes up to, it used to when I was younger. It don't anymore. I don't think it's possible to do it today. But it used to go up to 256 beats per minute at any given time. Now, when I was younger, coming up, I'm trying to bring you guys up because I was born with this. I've dealt with it all my life. When I was a kid, they told me I was hyperventilating. Gave me a paper sack to breathe in. They told me, breathe in a sack. I wasn't hyperventilating. But up until I was about 38 years old, I was able to control my heart rate. If it started going out of control, I could do things, take deep breaths, cough sometimes, but usually taking deep breaths and holding it and just fighting it, I could get my heart to stop. And but once at a certain age, like I said, around 38, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it to stop anymore. And on a Father's Day, I went in before I had my first heart surgery. I went in. They I ended up on the first time I went in, I got my heart to stop before they had to hit me with the defibrillators, and stop my heart and then restart it. I've had that happen twice to me. But the first time I went to the hospital, it didn't have to happen. I was able to get it to quit, but I still went through what they called it was a heart surgery, and they were doing ablations inside my heart. I had to be awake. If you see this mark on my neck, I don't know what this is, but this came from 3 surgeries that I went through. And it used to be just a little blue pin dot, like somebody touched my neck with a ballpoint blue pen. And it's turned into this. But this part of my neck, they went down into my heart with a camera, and they came up through my groin with the tool to try to fix my heart. Now, I have done over probably close to 40 hours in surgeries, in 3 different surgeries for 3 different doctors to try to fix my heart, and they could not fix it. Now, they had me on medications for the last 20 years, a heart medication that they told me and have been telling me for 20 years that if I did not take that medication, I would die. My heart doctors told me that for almost 20 years, that if I did not take this medication they had me on, I would die. Well, folks, 3 years ago when everything started, I knew shit was going to happen. I was not going to wear the mask. I would not wear a mask for anybody. I have 30% lung capacity. I'm not putting a mask over my face, over my mouth and nose. I ain't doing it for anybody. Not even for my wife and kids would I put one on. When they started, after about a year of you know what was going on, I was fighting the law. I was fighting the sheriff's department. I was fighting the damn police department. I was fighting the government, the governor's office. I was fighting the health department office. I was fighting with everybody. Had my Watachi Running Free original channel had all these videos on it. I was fighting everybody over this. And my heart doctors told me 2 years ago, coming up on 2 years, that if I didn't put a mask on and come in their office, they would not write me any more prescriptions for my heart. And I told them, I don't know who you think you are, but I'm not going to put a mask on for you either. I told my heart doctor, I told her, I said, you know damn good and well what my heart problems are. You know damn good and well I got 30% lung capacity, and you know damn good and well if I put a mask on, I could die. I could go into at least not getting enough oxygen that I go into a heart attack and end up in the hospital and die. She said, I know that, but they told me if I let you in my office or write you prescriptions without you wearing a mask, I would lose my license. That's what my heart doctor told me. And I told her, well, keep your license. I won't be back in there. And I haven't been back to any doctors. Not a lung doctor, not a heart doctor, none of them. I will never go back to these doctors. I had a time I was dying down in Tennessee. The doctors couldn't even figure out from what. They done told my family, this was about 9 or 10 years ago. They told my family, you might as well, his organs and shit are getting ready to shut down on him. You might as well just plan a funeral. My wife, my uncles, my aunt and uncles, my cousins, my mom and dad, they were all expecting me to die. Jesus asked me, when are you going to quit putting your faith in man and put your faith in me? And I said, all right. That anniversary is coming up here. 2 years ago, I said, all right. I went all in. All in. Jesus, Holy Spirit, and God. All in. 100%. I don't play no more. That don't mean I'm not a sinner, folks. I ain't Jesus. I ain't going to walk this earth and not be a sinner. I am nowhere near that. But I went all in. I no longer live for this world. The end of June, coming up here, I was put on probation for a year. Over 2 years, I was given 2 years of jail time over not wearing a mask. I did a year on probation instead of jail time. That time's coming up at the end of June. If anyone, anywhere, can prove what I've just said to be a lie, have at it. I've got the documents. I've got the videos. I've got everything to prove it. Now I want to end with some little bit of funny shit here, people. I'm telling you what, things people say, just things people said. Just the other day, I walked up into a conversation of that was going on, and I walked up to the cash register, and the customer and the cashier was talking. And what I heard as I walked up, this was uh, about a 28-year-old woman. She says, and that was the last time I hit a parked car. Now, as I walk up, I hear this, and I'm waiting for something, something more, and neither one of them said anything else. I looked at them and said, "Hey, I gotta ask." All I walked up on was, and that was the last time I hit a parked car. And she told me, "Oh yeah, I was telling her about this woman hit a parked car in a parking lot at the BMV, DMV, the whoever, when she was taking the driving test." That's kind of funny, if you ask me. Backing out to take the driving test and hit a parked car. There was another woman, about a 78-year-old woman. She's driving a van. Buddy of mine, he's riding a motorcycle, a Harley. He's doing about 45 mile an hour when this older woman pulls out in front of him, and he T-bones the side of her van. And this guy lived with scars up crisscross across his face, and the helmet just split and went off his head. He hit so hard the side of her van. And the thing that she come out telling the cops, now I knew this guy well, and his father told me what happened at the scene. But this 78-year-old woman got out of her car, or the van, telling the cops, "I had my turn signal on. He was on a motorcycle. He should have been able to whip right around my van." Now this one here, I just recently had an older one. When I say older, I mean older than I am. She's got a few years on me. She looked at somebody that knows me real well, my daughter-in-law, and said, she don't call me Watachi, but I'm going to use Watachi. Watachi is a soft-spoken man. Now, folks, that's something nobody's ever said about me. And for anyone to even think that shows you what kind of work God's doing with me. He's taking my tone way down. That people, and even my wife tells me at times, "Why are you talking so soft?" Because my dad, I used to talk so loud. My dad asked me one time, why are you talking so loud? And I looked at him and I said, "Because I want to be heard." Well, people are actually saying I'm soft-spoken now, so that shows you what God's work can do. Let me see if you can figure out who says this one. "We only sell war weapons to good people." That would be your government. And they get to decide who the good people are. That's a funny one right there. This one here is basically all Americans. All Americans. Except for me. I paid, you fill in the blank, last year in income taxes. Let me say that again. The statement is I paid, and you fill in the blank as to how much goes in there last year in income taxes. That's the biggest fear the government pumps on you, on everybody. But I can prove to you your income tax, federal income tax, is voluntary. You voluntarily do it because they threaten you with other things. But if you look on your W-2s where you claim your children and your wife or husband or whatever, and you look down through there and you see a spot that says, I did not owe any income taxes last year and I don't plan on owing any this year, you can write in exempt. The word exempt in that slot. And they can't even touch your paychecks. They cannot take federal income taxes out of it. I did it for a long time. And I worked for the government when I did it. Make no mistake about that. I'm still Watachi. I'm still running free. Why is that? Well, that's because income is an illusion. You don't have no income. You can't have a debt-backed currency. That isn't currency. It's a faux pas at the best. Currency is backed by something tangible that you can put in your freaking hand, whether it be gold, silver, copper, plutonium, but I wasn't thinking that, platinum. There's oil. Oil is something you can put in your hand. There's things you can back money, currency with. Debt does not make a currency. Debt makes an enslavement. Debt is not currency. What you work for, when you go to work or when you do whatever you do and somebody puts a dollar bill in your hand, American money in your hand, you are basically working for the same 5 families. They own everything. They're giving you an IOU, a Federal Reserve promissory note. Promissory note, folks. An IOU. And you take it over to the company store, you take it over to the company gas station, because the same 5 families own everything. They own all the gas stations, they own all the grocery stores, they own it all, folks. So they give you an IOU that you can go spend in their stores, that they can put whatever prices they want on the stuff you're buying from them. Isn't that a wonderful thing? Isn't that a wonderful thing for those 5 families? That they'll be set for forever. Their families will go on forever like this. And be the kings of everything. Come on, folks. Your currency is your enslavement. Your democracy is your enslavement. Your birth certificate, your driver's license, your marriage license. Let's see. Your any kind of documents that you carry that's got your name on it in all capital letters proves you are no longer human. You are identifying as a corporation. Was you ever taught in school to sign your name in all capital letters? Were you ever taught to write it like that? If you weren't, maybe you were, folks. I went to school back in the 60s and early 70s, or mid-60s to up to 80s. 1981 is when I graduated high school. Maybe you guys did. I don't know. But, folks, God loves you. I love you too. I'm just trying to point some shit out here. I ain't even trying to convince you of anything. I'm just trying to point this stuff out. You know? Look what's been going on with me. I'm still kicking. I'm still kicking. 2 years. They told me I'd be dead by now if I wasn't taking their medications. And I'll never go back to another one of them. But I'm still kicking. And I'm feeling better than I was. And if you guys ever see any of my older videos, you'll tell I've done lost weight. I've lost about 65 pounds. But I've gotten a lot older. That body, you start hitting up in them high 50s, 60s. Body breaks down. Ain't nothing you can do about it if you've worked hard like I have, like my wife has, like my dad did, my mom did, like a lot of people I know have worked hard. Your body don't last forever. You just keep pushing. Just keep going. They keep taking. They keep taking. They will never stop taking your shit. They will always take more and more from you until they got it all. Till you're working for nothing. You're living where they want you to live in some big stacked up apartment building in one town. They'll have your social credit, your everything. Is that how you people want to live? Is that what the future of this world is? You can have it. You can have it. I don't live for this world. I've crossed many thousands of miles across land. Never found any place I'd call home. My home ain't here. Yours isn't either, I hope. If your home's here, it's only 10. It's going to be so gone so fast, you won't even be a memory. I'm going to be known for a long time. People are going to know about Watachi in heaven. Watch and see. Love you guys. God loves you too. Till the next.